Hello everyone, welcome to the 15th video of the Data Analytics and Visualization series. Today we are going to continue with the scatter plots. We're going to look at a variant of scatter plot called as the bubble chart, which is something that you can also make in Excel. But I'll just try and show it to you how you can quickly make it in R as well. We'll also try to see how we can change sizes and colors and shapes, and how we can also play around with the transparency of the scatter plot. But before we begin, let me just do a quick recap. We're going to use the empty cars data set, right? And this is a data set which talks about 32 different types of cars, which were launched somewhere in 1973 and 74. And there are a number of different, I think about 10 or 11 different types of attributes for this car. We are going to predominantly look at the MPG attribute, which is miles per gallon, the WT, which is weight of the car, and QSEC, which is 1/4 mile time, right? Very quickly, let's go and see how the data set looks. This is how the data set looks. We also saw this. If you want to understand anything about the data set, you just have to put a question mark and write empty cars. Once you press enter, you'll get it in the help window. Cool. Now let's get right into the action. Right, I'm going to run line number 332, and I'm going to do an alt enter here, right? And I'm going to zoom the plot. Most of you would have been aware of what a bubble chart is. It is exactly the same as that of any dot charts or scatter plots. Both your x and y axis are numerical variables or continuous variables. The only distinguishing factor is the size of the dot can depend on a third variable. So here, what are the three columns that I'm trying to look at? I'm trying to look at the weight of the car in the x-axis, the miles or the mileage in y-axis, and I'm also looking at the QSEC, which is another numerical variable on the size of the bubble, right? So you can see smaller sized bubbles have got values equal to 15. As the size increases, the value increases to 22.5. So that's what you see. Right? How do you plot this? It's a very simple kind of a thing. All that you need to do is just reuse the same ggplot syntax that you've been using for the dot plots earlier. You call on the data empty cars, you write aesthetics x and y axis, and then inside geom point you're going to introduce an aesthetic syntax, and you're just going to say size equal to, and instead of giving a hard-coded number, you will just call on the column name. You're just going to say size is equal to QSEC, and R will dynamically change the size of the dot based on the number that is present in your QSEC column, right? Which is this column. So it will vary based on the WT in your x-axis, which is weight of the car, against the miles per gallon, which is mileage in your y-axis, and the size of the bubble is going to be based on QSEC, right? So I hope that's a fairly simple chart. It's similar to what you do in an Excel sheet. Now, just to play around, we've covered this before in the previous video, but if you want to have different types of information going around, if you want to say shape, size, and color, I've tried to do all of this in this single graph. So x and y axis are two variables. The size depends on QSEC. The color depends on CYL, which is the number of cylinders, and the shape depends on the gear column, right? So if it is a circle, a 3-geared vehicle, if it is red in color, it has got 4 cylinders. If it is a small bubble, then the QSEC is equal to 15. Right? So what you're trying to get is you're trying to get 5 variables on here for all the different data sets that you have in the empty cars data set, right? So I mean, it's an interesting plot. Though here it looks slightly cluttered, but I hope you get the message, right? You can use shape, size, and color, and you can show 5 variables on a single plot. Right. Now, let's quickly get into how do you control the size and the color. I'm going to run line 337. And what you see here, you see that the dot has gone away and you're getting triangles. right? You're getting triangles, small triangles, hollow triangles, and they are colored in red. So how do you achieve this? All that you need to do is inside the geom point, just write color is equal to red. That will take care of the color. You can choose shape is equal to 2 for triangles and size is equal to 2 for keeping it smaller, right? If you want to increase the size, just increase the number. If you want to change this to maybe 3 and run it again, you will see the triangle has changed to a cross, right? So that's fairly how you control the colors and sizes. Now let's say you want to let's say you want to do something slightly more interesting. I'll just run line number 340 so that you can clearly see. So what am I doing here, right? uh, you see that there is a turquoise or a light green, depending on how you see it, colored dot plots, right? We are again comparing weight of the car versus the mileage. So you see the turquoise dots, but inside the turquoise dots, you see that there is some pink dots, right? Which is of a smaller size. So we can achieve it using this line of code, right? You can simply use a geom point that we've been using, um, and you you can control the width of the outer border using an argument called a stroke, right? So I'm here. What I've taken is I've taken shape is equal to 21, and the outer color is turquoise. I'm filling it with pink, and I'm just selecting size equal to 2 for the outer color, right? So let's say if I increase this to 5 and run it, right? So you see how the size of the border has increased, correct? So in order for you to use this, you'll have to pick the right shape. So here, shape is equal to 21 is a hollow circle, right? Which means it has an outer border and it would have something inside to play around, right? So you can actually give a different color to the border and different color for the fill, and then you can control the size of the border using stroke. So I hope that's fairly simple. And we have seen transparency before. Let's say this is your plot. If you want to make it transparent, you will just use the alpha indicator here. I'm going to run the alpha indicator again. So you see how the dark red became slightly more transparent, right? So this is what we wanted to cover in this video. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next video. Cheers.